Sheila. Hi, Sheila. Oh. Wow. Do you feel better? Oh. Not English. Oh. Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, look at that horse with a heart.
And if you could all mute yourselves, that would be really helpful for sound quality.
Okay.
We have a lot of people that have not been here before tuning in. And so it's always good to allow the distillation through the silence to emerge so that we can really feel what's here. And we will unmute later and we can say hello to one another like we like to do. But in the meantime, let's mute and just really revel in the silence together. Just bathing in each other's presence. And settling into yourself. Because when we gather here, we're not looking outside of ourselves, but we're discovering that we are the nourishment that we seek. That's what the heart of nature consciousness is awakening in us, a deep nourishment. Noticing how we can connect deeply with one another breath by breath without saying a single word. And we will open up to dialogue later because I know that it is a way that we connect. I do know that humans love to talk with one another and say hello because I'm also human. But it's nice to begin in a different way. With a beginning to become present with yourself. We're going to be exploring with all of nature and with all of Mother Gaia's animal beings and with our highest self, which is our true nature, which is nature. We're going to be exploring true self-seeing. So just notice even when those words arise as a contemplation to examine, to see what arises for you when you begin to observe the pathways that you see yourself. And maybe even begin to become receptive to allowing new and ancient pathways to awaken here with a little help from our friends. Allow true self-seeing to be reignited. And I'm just going to mute us all for sound quality. This recording will be shared with resonant hearts as a gift. So we're all co-creating this gift by this deep dive together. So let's take a breath now and welcoming yourself, all of yourself here. Which then overflows, welcoming others, because in truth, the deeper we go, there is no other. So we overflow with welcome. And we call in the herd of light here who supports this alchemical container. They act very much like quartz crystals. Quartz crystals are the amplifiers of the crystal world. So we have a very sacred formation here as we are like crystal beings placed on a grid all around the world. Where your physical body is located, you are part of this crystal mandala. So we're becoming receptive amplifiers. And the herd of light, Khalil, who's right behind me. Yoshi, Teddy, Taz, Travis, and this amazing unseen being, Omar, who was in a magnificent black horse form with us for 3 years and guiding the whole show. And then your herds of horses. We have some profound, intimate connections here with the equine world. So many of you have incredible light beings disguised as horse in your life. I want to speak the name of a very profound, embodied teacher, master, light being disguised as horse that has been living with Sheila, who's right here with us for over 22 years and is in the process of consciously dissolving her form at age 33. And I invite her into this space so fully because she has so much to share with us right now as she crosses this threshold that we all cross at some point and in each breath if we allow it. And we invite in the healing herds of so many of our kindred sisters here. The healing herd extends to the canine collective. The healing herd extends to the feline collective of so many brothers and sisters here. We invite in this one herd of all the animal beings who snuzzle and breathe and love us back to a clearer point of self-seeing. And we call in all of the glorious beings here on the planet and beyond that are here to guide us in our evolution. The stars, the planets, the moon, the galaxies, the black holes, space itself. The winged ones, some that are in form, some that are formless. The trees, the soil, just feeling this collective sentience. It's a sea of sentience that we are bathing in together. And any being that comes into your heart right now, just breathing them into this space and feeling them here, nearer than near. And then feeling yourself as part of this crystalline grid of light. And then we take a glimpse at the intention of what brought us together, what intention inside of your own being. And just take a breath of the beauty of that. And the beauty of the convergence of all of these intentions, like a bouquet of intentions. And let's breathe this out as a gift, letting it ripple out into the whole. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. As we dive into reigniting true self-seeing, it felt so vital to open to this. It feels like the hinge, actually, like a hinge, something that would, the entire new earth paradigm, if you want to give words to the vastness that can't be named, but it feels like the entire new earth paradigm hinges upon this. And beginning to clarify the distortions through which we see ourselves. So just for a moment, we're not going to even look at how we view anyone else. Of course, as we know, there is no other. But we're going to tune in with a laser light of softness to how we see ourselves. We have so much help, so much support in strengthening these pathways again, these pathways that we came here with. So we'll begin with these transmissions, and this is just the beginning of our month-long weekly exploration. These are the messages that came through as I was tuning into all of you and all the beings who were gathering. And this first one did come through about a year ago, but it really burst to the surface to be looked at again today with you. This is from the heart of nature consciousness. Trying to get the horses, make sure you can see they're gathering so powerfully behind me. Breathing out and making space. You have been identifying yourself like a mala. We see how meticulously you have hand knotted each bead of your experiences together to create a complex mala, a living touchstone for self-reference. Notice how every experience that you have had has become a bead on this mala, tightly knotted together to form a mala of an understanding of who you are in a linear, held together way. This has happened so unconsciously, but it's time to make it conscious. You repeatedly touch each bead on the mala, and repeat the vibrational mantra of I am this. This is me. I am this. This is me. Over and over again, with great unconscious belief and conviction that this is true. Well, we are here to show you just how easy these knots can come apart. To be allowed to fall back like drops into the ocean. Let this mala fall apart. This thread that was holding it together is a thread of fear. And each knot, a configured knot tied by a thread of fear, trying desperately to keep it in place. Do not try to keep it neatly linked together any longer. Let every experience come and go freely without knotting it into a me mala. Return the beads to the ocean. Some will float, some will sink, but they will all return. And in the falling apart of this well-constructed mala, you discover the freedom of being cut loose and loosened. And lost will be self-referencing, and found in the sea of true seeing you will be. So let's breathe this in together and hear the frequencies through the soles of the feet. As I read it again from the heart of nature consciousness, which is our true nature. You have been identifying yourself like a mala. We see how meticulously you have hand knotted each bead of your experiences together to create a complex mala, a living touchstone for self-reference. Notice how every experience has become a bead, tightly knotted together to form a mala of an understanding of who you are in a linear, held together way. This happens unconsciously, but it's time to make this conscious. You repetitively touch each bead and repeat the vibrational mantra of I am this is me. I am this is me. Over and over again with great unconscious belief and conviction that this is true. We are here to show you how easily these knots can come apart, to be allowed to fall free back like drops into the ocean. Let this mala fall apart. The thread that was holding it together is a thread of fear. Each knot, a configured knot, tied by a thread of fear, trying to keep it in place. Do not try to keep it neatly linked together any longer. You don't need this touchstone any longer. Let every experience come and go freely without knotting it into a me mala. Return the beads to the ocean. Some will float, some will sink, but they will all return. And in the falling apart of this well-constructed mala, you discover the freedom of being cut loose and loosened. And lost will be self-referencing, and found in the sea of true seeing, you will be. So we feel into these word vehicles because they're just carriers of a frequency that just wants to pour down through you. And this is Teddy in the background. We have a message from Octopus. This transmission from Octopus, so beautiful. So why don't we begin to receive through the very follicles of our hair on our skin, these frequencies from Octopus. A true rarity is a human that has not hardened in response to life. A true rarity is a human that has not hardened in response to life. For most, an artificial hardening has taken shape around you. A plastic-like frequency of not realness. And we understand so deeply, so compassionately. We understand why this has been chosen as a way of being in life. Because your true nature is so indescribably soft, uncongealed, and translucent, and therefore you feel so vulnerable. But what you may not realize is that the outer covering that you hide behind to protect yourself, it actually keeps you hidden from truly seeing yourself. And it distorts everything you see. It's impossible to see yourself clearly through this covering, for the translucence of you becomes occluded from you. It is impossible to see yourself clearly through this covering, for the translucence of you becomes occluded from you. So, come breathe with us in this moment. Through the absence of hardened protective filters, come breathe your essence directly back to yourself and feel this translucent beingness that you are. feel how vaster than vast your essence is. The self-seeing is your greatest protection. And once seen, there is no need for any other protection. The self-seeing is your greatest protection, and once seen, there is no need for any other protection. Once you are truly self-seen, you arrive safely home. From octopus, let's invite this incredible being right here, nearer than near. Imagine diving underwater and breathing, being right there, breathing underwater with octopus. A true rarity is a human that hasn't hardened in response to life. For most, an artificial hardening has taken shape around you, a plastic-like frequency of not realness. And we understand so deeply compassionately, we understand why this has been chosen as a way of being in life. Because your true nature is so indescribably soft, uncongealed, and translucent, and therefore you feel so vulnerable. What you may not realize is that the outer covering that you hide behind to protect yourself, it actually keeps you hidden from truly seeing yourself, and it distorts everything you see. It is impossible to see yourself clearly through this covering, for the translucence of who you are becomes occluded from yourself. So come breathe with us in this moment through the absence of hardened protective filters. Breathe your essence directly back to yourself and feel this translucent beingness that you are. Feel how vaster than vast your essence is. This self-seeing is your greatest protection. And once seen, there is no need for any other protection. Once you are truly self-seen, you are safely home. So let's breathe in this safe home within as we begin to cleanse our seeing and direct it inward and truly see. Even just a glimpse of this translucent beingness. It is so soft and uncongealed. yet vaster than vast. We thank Octopus for this illuminating transmission. And then we have a great being who's right here. Her name is Taz. Actually, her full name is Tasneem. And she has a transmission for us today. True seeing needs the alchemical ingredient of softness. True seeing needs the alchemical ingredient of softness. Begin by gently softening your glance, softening your eyes as you glance out into your environment. Allow your eyes to soften and allow light to permeate and to be received as if you are breathing in through your softened glance. So we can try this now. Begin by gently softening your glance and allowing light to penetrate as if you're breathing through your softened gaze. Breathing light, receiving deeply. Through the portals of your soft eyes. For true seeing needs the alchemical ingredient of softness. And then redirect your light-filled, softened gaze, redirect it within. Allowing it to land where it may, in the landscape of your innermost being, like a feather floated by unseen currents and mysteriously landing perfectly to be seen by you. So redirect this light-filled, softened glance within and allow it to land where it may in the landscape of your innermost being, like a feather floated by unseen currents and mysteriously landing perfectly to be seen by you. And then looking in with soft eyes at what may have been overlooked. And now, by the divine alchemy of softness, now is truly seen. True seeing needs the alchemical ingredient of softness. So gently softening your outer gaze and allowing light to penetrate and to be received as if being breathed in through your softened gaze. And then redirecting this light-filled, softened gaze within. Allowing it to land where it may, in the landscape of your innermost being, landing perfectly to be seen, and then looking in with soft eyes at what may have been overlooked. And now, by the divine alchemy of softness, now is truly seen. And here is a transmission from the Cow Collective. So we invite in these great beings that are disguised as cows to our innermost heart. And we hear this transmission from the center of our heart. There are so many other senses from which we live. And it's only from these subtle senses that you could ever truly see yourself. We see ourselves through the soles of our cloven hooves, where all vibrations converge. We see ourselves through the crowns of our heads. We see ourselves through the universal heart, perceiving through the soft meltedness of compassion seeing itself. We see ourselves through the breath. Oh, through the portal of the breath. Give it a try. See yourself through these less traveled lenses, and then bathe in being truly seen. There's so many other senses from which we live, say the cows. And it's only from these subtle senses that you can truly see yourself. We see ourselves through the soles of our cloven hooves, where all vibrations converge. We see ourselves through the crowns of our heads. We see ourselves through the universal heart, perceiving through the soft meltedness of compassion, seeing itself. We see ourselves through the breath. Oh, through the portal of the breath. Give it a try. See yourself there from these less traveled lenses, and then bathe fully in being truly seen. So for a moment, let's allow this to be a direct experience, transmitted directly here and now, seeing through the portal of the soles of your feet. Seeing yourself through the portal of the crown above your head. Feeling and knowing and seeing yourself from the center of the universal heart in your subtle body. And then a direct seeing through the breath. The portal of the breath clears all distortions. And we have a very helpful transmission from Girl, who I mentioned as we were calling in our support, our amplified light beings who are in many forms and formlessness. And Girl is one of these beings who is in a very sacred part of her embodied threshold, the conscious dissolving of her form. And she gives us this incredibly helpful transmission. Where nostril meets air, see your true self from there. Where nostril meets air, see your true self from there. The portal where air meets nostril hair. Yes, that laser-like. Right there. See yourself from there. So we can invite in Girl. Or any being who can show you directly to breathe with you. And to awaken that acute convergence where nostril meets air. And even more acute where nostril hair meets air. Seeing yourself from there. And then bathing in this true being seen, in this sea of being truly seen. So we thank these beings for igniting remembrance. And we send out these ripples of remembrance out in service to the whole, as not separate, as the very air we breathe. So when you feel to begin to move the attention that you have that is deeply anchored within, and to begin to allow it to touch the external group space, still staying deeply anchored. And if you feel to begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and open your eyes gently with soft eyes, beginning to look around at all of these human embodiments that are on the screen, somehow miraculously appearing here, converging. Just notice how your seeing has been perhaps recalibrated, all coming from just touching a place of a truer self-seeing. So we begin to really get in our bodies how important this self-seeing is. And I feel so reverently grateful for all of you as these transmissions only could come through and be shared and created because of you. So thank you for being here. And let's open up the group now into a community where we do what humans do love to do, which is to say hello. And if there's anything that you feel led to share, please don't hesitate, feel free. I will be sharing this recording as a service to anyone who it may support, so do keep that in mind. But on the other hand, there's no need to hide either. So if you feel to unmute yourself, we are all one heart speaking and listening to itself. This is Khalil behind me. And Teddy right next to him. Hello, Lucy. Hello, sweetheart. So good to see you. Your silence is heard too. It's precious, just so you know. So we bathe together now, breath by breath. Last month we practiced bathing. This month we practice self-seeing. Now we bathe in true self-seeing.
I wanted to share that I really loved the first transmission because I've just had this realization that it's not the experience that is the place that we're seeking, and partly because I've been listening to the Eckhart Tolle meditations, and it's really clarifying so many things, and this just felt like today felt like so many things coming together. Yeah.
Camille, thank you for speaking. In your voice, I can feel like it's a miraculous kind of a holographic coming together that you could never even point to all of the strands, but somehow all the strands cancel each other out and end up just like that mala, loosened and being completely lost in the sea of true sea, totally found there in that lostness.
And I don't know if it's related, but I had like the strangest experience yesterday that I realized that I was just, it's really hard to describe, but I just stopped being able to kind of stay with the linear, like this, just the string of events that were happening. And but it wasn't a nice, it felt like being ill, and I don't know if it was maybe being ill.
Yeah.
Because I've had some physical things as well, but when you were talking at the beginning, I got the same headache, so I think it is related. But it's so hard. It wasn't like losing my thoughts. It wasn't like it was like going into different experiences, and like different, well, maybe, yeah, it's just, and no, and also everything was related, but like in a dream, it wasn't really connected to the present. And there was also sometimes a very clear, very kind of primal fear about about losing my mind. And when I lay down at night, I was actually kind of scared to go into that, because I was like, what if it's so hard to describe it, because now that it's gone, it's like, it was like kind of imagining it, but
I
it
really feel what you're speaking of.
it was so strange. But then I was thinking, my intellectual mind was saying, well, if you have fear, then you're still connected to being, like being a body and being an experience. And so I was able to let the fear go, I think. But it was just the strangest thing. I feel like it maybe is a letting go on some level.
Oh, yeah.
Something. Some kind of,
Yeah.
linear perception, maybe.
So beautiful. And I can fully understand the fear.
I think of the fear as untying the knots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely has to do with that, the knot. Yeah, that's beautiful, Tishy. Yeah.
I come back to you guys in pain from losing Lori,
Yeah.
my best friend,
I know. I'm so sorry.
56 years. But I've been calling her in all week. From the minute I landed back in California, something possessed me to go and tear my garden out. And I don't like gardening, but she loved the dirt. So the first day I was back, I was exhausted and just in that garden for 8 hours. I hadn't eaten or anything. I just had to get in the soil.
Yeah.
And then back to you guys today. It's so funny. All week I've had conversations about octopuses with my marine friends, my marine scientist friends. But also I plan to watch that movie, My Octopus Friend, tonight, to finally sit down to it. So there's all that connection. And I think of octopuses in a way of knots, but they never get into knots. They're always feeling their way out of them.
Yeah.
And it's only been, as a marine scientist, it's only been recent to me knowing that each one of their arms or tentacles have a brain in itself. It's a neural center that's not just in the encephalitis part. And so thinking about that octopus and expanding us all out to those, it's just been like that vision all week.
Wow. Oh, Tishy, hearing that from you, who's gone underwater with these sea beings, just
It
brings
takes that sadness away, that
it
you know, you
alchemizes
don't
the
lose the thread,
sadness.
she's still here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was feeling that actually during the gathering, to be honest with you, not to be invasive, but we are all one heart here.
Well, I made a joke with Lori that when she's around, please let me know by pulling my hair. And it hasn't really happened in a physical sense. And I probably will turn into a bobblehead old lady. But I could really feel her today when I went deeper into that,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I had this moment where I was filled with like your experience, but also all of our experience of that.
And when I opened my eyes, I asked, is it Camille, the horse, to pull closer, and she put her head over your head and came in really close for a moment, and all I saw was her nostrils. So
Oh. Somehow they just know. Thank you so much for being here at this, incredibly beautiful, uncongealed time of your sacred spiral.
it's good to see everybody.
So good to see you and hear you. And you will love my octopus teacher.
Some people that have seen it that are not at all emotional like me have told me they've gone to tears. So I'm excited about those tears.
Yeah, they're deeply cleansing tears. Would anyone else like to say hello, lend voice to anything? It's just so good to see you all.
I'll just speak some gratitude. If I can't hear if somebody else is talking at the same time.
I can hear you, Jenna.
Just speak some gratitude into the group. A bunch of us, I recognize some names that had made comments on the post. On the names here had encircled my beloved mare with a lot of love and light, and she had a quite miraculous turnaround from a really bad colic and choke, and she's just doing great. And so I knew I had to accept that she was on that threshold, and it could have tipped one way or the other, but she felt so strong and serene, even as she was definitely transcending at that threshold. And the miracle of the intention of just opening a door for her to choose and feeling the sense of one timeline that could have manifested of her body dissolving, and feeling the weight of that grief for my perspective on this shared experience was very real. And then feeling the opening to the hope and to the love and to the invitation to stay, not only for her, but for witnessing of multiple people who were there physically and with us in the heart of miracle and life and the power of love and choice. And so I'm getting the big goosebumps as I speak this into this group.
Because it's so big. It really was so big, and it was a gift you allowed us all to bear witness to and take part in. Thank you so
I felt
much
that was
for that.
part of the purpose of it. I felt very early in her shifts, I felt this is collective, and this is not collective in a subtle, unknown way. This is collective in a verbal, direct, way. And I'm just so grateful for so many that just nourished us. I mean, the feeling of these multiple light beings coming together in form here and in the ethers, it was just magnificent. And it's in her aura now that I can feel when we interact. And so I just want to share that one and the uniqueness and the bubbling of that light, and just give the gratitude and the wow. I mean, it was like, oh wow, like time after time. And she never spiraled down from the moment that she said yes. And there was that feeling of, now it's just give time and space for the coalescing of her healing. She just stayed upward and upward. And I had some doubt. There was a wavering when I went to visit her at the clinic, where we brought her for an emergency overnight for 2 nights. I had some doubt of, she had been so strong in the biggest part of the emergency, then her body was very tired and exhausted after she came out of that first night. And I was with her etherically and I felt her brightness. And so I was kind of surprised to see her in physical form looking dull and retracted, withdrawn a bit, just into her own cave of working through. And the vet said, no, she's just been through hell. She's real tired. She's going to be fine. Her vitals are great. This vet had 15 surgeries herself. And when I put her into that vet's hands and had to leave, I knew she was with a strong woman who would just believe that the body can go through, and that when the spirit is strong, it's no matter. And so I felt really good about that. And she said, she's a give her one more night. And the next morning she was so much more there, and it just got better and better. She said, I knew the adrenaline could wear off from the trailer ride and we could see her, that's when you see the downward spiral. She said there was none. And I know that was because of how lifted up she was throughout. So thank you to those who.
Well, Jenna, if I may just say,
please,
what I saw was one of the most powerful catalysts in that whole miracle birthing was the way that you held true self-seeing of her. And that is what you amplified. You allowed us all to come in and offer but you set the tone because you amplified a true self-seeing of her. And that is a very huge, powerful gift that births miracles. And that's what I wanted to reflect back.
Thank you for articulating that. And that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And the intimacy and immediacy of, the vet had the euthanasia meds out. They were in her hand. It was this serious. They were in her hand. And I just went into total faith in her power to decide and to just honor. And it felt like that just seeing her so clearly, because in that emergency, immediacy, the acuteness of awareness and love was so strong. Everything vanished and she radiated. So.
And you saw. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one heart flowing gratitude. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for just the space and all of the multiplicities that are showing up.
Isn't it incredible?
It's delicious. I'm so delighted that this is the real world we're co-creating.
It is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah. That's right. Yes, it is. Thank you. Jenna, can you remind me of her name again?
Yeah, her formal name is Summits Champagne and Roses.
Yeah.
And we call her Amy. And so she was bred out of the mare that I had as a child, and my dear friend Stallion. And my friend said, she passed away a few years ago at 80, and this was 20 years ago, she said, how about we breed twice? And the first one is for me, and the second one is for you once you graduate. And so they had her for 7 years, but I was always in this mare's life, and she was in mine since I was 20, and now she's 20. And so they named her Amy, and I thought, this is such a strange name for her, and I couldn't really wrap my mind around it. And then 7-8 years later, a good friend of ours that I met him through horses, is from Chihuahua, Mexico. And he would say to her, hola, amiga. And I said, oh, that's it. She's Amy Amiga. So she's a dear friend. We call her Amy.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I totally understand how a name can, maybe on the surface, it doesn't necessarily represent fully, and how perfect that actually can be.
Yes. And as soon
we have one like that too.
Yeah, as soon as I heard him say to her, hola, amiga, it was like, oh, that always was it.
Yeah, I can see that.
the explanation to pop into place because we were waiting to meet this particular friend, this amigo.
Yeah.
I think of a name though is also that trying to self-recognize. So the name is so important.
It is, but we can also recognize beyond the name, because here we have this being, he loves to hide behind the name Travis. And I tell you, I've wanted to change his name, but if I say it out loud, he'll be embarrassed. I can't say it out loud, the name that he really is, because he thinks that you can recognize him beyond the name. But that's just him. There are other horses that we named over and over again, trying to get the right mantra to help their becoming. So it's all very different for everybody. But yes, this is Travis, Azim. But don't tell anyone. So beloveds.
I have to show Travis and you something.
All right.
This is what I wore to Halloween last night with my godchildren. Travis. And the reason there's a C in the mouth of this horse hat is I told him it was a seahorse.
Oh.
And so I was a seahorse for Halloween for my godchildren.
My goodness.
On a Zoom meeting.
Tishy,
and I was surprised to find out they just got a saltwater tank. And I said, you need to ask your dad if he can put seahorses in it.
Oh, that's very profound, because I know you've been connecting with the horses, and that's been like a new kind of thing for you, because you're a sea being, a being of the ocean. So now you converge them as your costume.
Yeah,
that's
I got this.
Pretty cool.
The boys love horses, but I put this beautiful hat on her, and she hasn't a name yet.
That's so cool. Thank you for showing us.
A fun
I
Halloween
get it.
trick.
I get it.
Do you get it, Travis?
Do you think he gets it?
He got it.
I was breathing. Yes, please.
I'm noticing today the softness in the group sharing. I think it's very funny that Camille was the first one to speak, because the tone of her tonality is so soft, and so much comes through her tone, and for me more than her words. And then for some reason the picture was flashing a lot to Tishy when I was watching, even though Tishy was quiet. And she's right up to the camera, and I can really feel her emotion today. And so that was really present, like that softness being really revealed and in the space, and that realness just really here. And now Azim, the mysterious, is here. And then and Jenna talking about how co-creative and connective this all is, and how, and just our seeing our true selves from below our feet and above our head, and how we're all really one and here and all breathing together and all loving the one and loving ourselves. Ah, it's nice today. So thank you, this big octopus dream.
Oh, love, what comes through your voice? So profound. Just pure light. Thank you.
I really love this name, Azim.
I do too.
I really love it.
He seems to be okay with us knowing it right now.
Yeah.
I was breathing with Azim when girl's message came through. Because he was breathing with girl through the ether. And he brought my attention right to my nostril, where the air meets the nostril. And it was right there that I felt like any distorted complexities of self-reference just fell away.
I was walking the dogs this morning.
Yes.
And I was very, very tired. And I thought, I can't go on. And then I thought of this thing out of A Course in Miracles. I am not a body, I am free. And I thought, the universe can help me around here, can give me. And I started to take these little breaths right on that top of my nose, just very high vibration. And I thought, that's the universe's breath. And I kept doing that all the way around my walk with the dogs, and I got round fine. So I forgot that I'm totally bowled over that it's so appropriate to.
I can't close my gaping mouth. I'm so in awe of you. I'm so in awe of you.
It's the universe that was breathing for me.
Well, and how does this knowing come through us? That's the awe, the awe.
Yeah,
and that you were available for that.
Yeah, that's it. You have to be open to do it. Like Cami, I've been watching the Eckhart Tolle videos, and that helps a lot.
Yes, those were specifically good ones.
Yeah. But he didn't mention the breath of the universe, so that just came to me.
No, but he probably was breathing it.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, beloved, thank you for sharing. That is so cool. Wow. Way to recalibrate back into true seeing. So, beloveds, I hope that this that we've co-created can serve us all to strengthen a steadfast self-seeing that then can overflow and birth miracles. May it be so, and so it is. Let's ripple this out, fully first breathing it in, allowing all to rearrange and realign. Everything that wants to fall away and be loosened and set free, to be let go in this breath. So there can be a deeper bathing in true seeing. Blessings to you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, each one of you, so much.
Thank
Love
you. Bye,
Love you.
everybody.
Thank you.
See you soon. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.